He has emotions. Let's stamp them out through violence.
Oh, look at that. He's already more of an adult than I am.
Well, that's not on my watch.
My name is KJ, and you're listening to the Supernatural Opinions podcast, where some things in this world are supernatural. My pronouns are she, they, and this is the podcast where I talk to my fellow Supernatural fans about Supernatural, and we share our Supernatural opinions.
Today we're recapping Season 2, Episode 6, No Exit, which originally aired on November 2nd, 2006, and here to help me do that are my guests of the week, Meredith, her older sister Audrey, and Francis. Meredith, please remind everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Meredith, and researching for this episode was really great because I'm currently doing a similar thing for one of my school projects.
That worked out well.
Yeah.
And Audrey.
Hi, I'm Audrey. As mentioned, I'm Meredith's older sister, and I'm she, her, and I'm happy to be here. And I am not as sleep deprived because I'm not in school.
Yay. And Francis.
I'm Francis, and I am ecstatic to be back because serial killers and true crime is my love, so this episode is really cool for me.
Yeah, I literally went to school for criminal justice. I just graduated like 6 months ago, so I loved this.
Yeah, like serial killers, like I will go on Wikipedia/Google rabbit holes.
Oh, I
So-
did. This is the episode where KJ did the mythology section. For the first time in like a long time, I have something to contribute. So yeah, let's keep things rolling here. This episode will contain spoilers actually for this episode of Supernatural, and also it's going to contain some spoilers for season 15 episode 3. Basically season 15 episodes 1, 2, and 3. There will be some spoilers for in the mythology section, but that's it. Just in the little mythology section and nothing ridiculously spoilery.
Awesome.
This week's episode is titled No Exit. I had to turn to the Supernatural wiki on fandom.com, as I so often do in my day-to-day life, in order to figure out what this title was referencing. But someone on there knew and told me it's a Jean-Paul Sartre play. No Exit was written in 1944, the height of the Second World War, and it's about 3 people damned to hell and locked in a room together to be each other's eternal torment, and the moral is essentially that hell is other people because they make each other miserable.
That definitely sounds like something someone would write during World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hell being other people, I can confirm because all my jobs have been customer facing.
Gosh.
Yep. Overall, it's a very fitting reference for this episode, which deals with the ghost of infamous serial killer A.J. Holmes. That guy sucked.
Yeah, you could say that.
And we'll get into it at the end of the episode, and probably during the episode.
Because he did indeed suck.
Yes.
This week's episode was written by Matt Whitten and directed by Kim Manners. I don't think we need to keep talking about Kim Manners. We just talked about him last time he directed in Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
We like him.
Yeah, we like him. But, you know, we've gone over his credentials so many times.
Oh, yeah. There's only so many times I can talk about how much I love him on The X-Files.
Yeah. Matt Whitten was the supervision producer on this season of Supernatural, and this is the first of 2 episodes that he's written, both within this season. Some other things that Matt Whitten has written that I personally thought was important to mention are 3 episodes of Law & Order UK, 13 of the original Law & Order, 1 episode of Pretty Little Liars, and 5 episodes of House MD.
Whitten has written many things.
And yeah, that's it. So we're going to get right into the recap unless anyone else has anything that they want to add.
Yeah, not really.
Excited for serial killers.
Aren't we all?
So yeah, let's just get right into it then. We're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a young blonde who is having some issues with her apartment's wiring. She is asking her maintenance person to come up and check, as she was told that the apartment would be ready to move in. This actress is Andrea Brooks. She was in Supernatural again in Season 8 in LARP and the Real Girl, which is one of the best episodes of Supernatural.
Yes, it is.
She's the girl who helps Sam do some research.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah, she came back. Good for her for getting back in for like the best episode.
Heck yeah.
She was also a waitress in the infamously bad Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief movie.
I have no memory of her in it, which is probably good for her.
Yeah, she was a waitress in the Lotus Motel and Casino, so she wasn't big deal.
I think we were just trying to block out that movie because it was so
entirely,
bad.
yeah. Jake Abel is great in them, and that's about it.
Just a waste of a good cast.
It really was.
She was also in an episode of Once Upon a Time. 46 episodes on Supergirl as Eve Techmaker. I hope I said that right. And 63 episodes as Dr. Faith Carter in When Calls the Heart, which is a Canadian show.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of that show.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of seasons of it, and it's pretty good. Anyway, this blonde girl, she notices some black goo dripping from her ceiling and hears thumping in the walls, and more black goo comes out of the light switch, which doesn't have a plate on it. This apartment is not move-in ready.
If you're poor, though.
This apartment was just built. I can guarantee that it costs like $1,000 a month to rent.
Oh, yeah.
Those windows and the exposed brick, that's like a minimum like $1,200 a month apartment.
Yeah. I wouldn't be confused necessarily at the ectoplasm. I'd be freaking out like, I just got here!
Like, oh my gosh, is there a dead thing in the walls? I mean, yeah, actually, but not the kind of dead thing you're thinking of.
Like, they really did a good job at making that stuff look disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
I was not excited.
It's pretty nasty.
She, like, looks in, like, behind where the light switch wiring is, and she sees an eye pop up, and someone says, boo. Literally, the ghost said boo. And then she screams.
That's iconic.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Sam and Dean outside the roadhouse, where Dean is trying to convince Sam that they should go to LA, saying that a girl has been kidnapped by an evil cult. And when Sam asks for details, Dean says that the girl is Katie Holmes. In case you don't know who Katie Holmes is, Katie Holmes is famous for her work as Joey Potter on Dawson's Creek, and she began dating Tom Cruise in April of 2005, so about a year before this episode aired.
And I think she was also, what's her name? Rachel?
Oh, yeah.
Batman?
The Dark Knight.
Batman
Begins.
Yeah.
Wrong Batman movie. Anyway, yes, Batman Begins.
Yeah, Batman Begins.
Sorry.
The important thing is that she started dating Tom Cruise about a year before this episode aired.
You know, the evil cult reference makes more sense now.
And shortly after that, she followed him into the study of Scientology. They were engaged in June and had their daughter on their 1-year anniversary before marrying in November of 2006, just 2 weeks after this episode aired. They divorced in 2012, and Katie Holmes reverted back to Catholicism after her divorce.
The trance broke.
She just woke up like, who am I? Oh my gosh. Catholicism seems less crazy now.
I mean, the Catholic Church is breaking down this week, but it's fine. It's all fine. I don't know if that reference will still be, like, cool when this episode comes out in 4 weeks, but shit is going crazy over there.
I don't really keep track of Catholic news, but let's continue.
In short, Catholic news, basically, pronouns matter, and a priest was using the wrong pronouns during baptisms, and all of his baptisms were ruled to be, invalid. And then another priest was watching his own baptism, and that priest said the wrong pronouns, so his baptism wasn't valid, which means that he never should have been able to be a priest, which means all of the baptisms he's ever done are invalid.
The Catholic Church hasn't changed at all. It's still entertaining to study.
Pronouns are tearing shit apart over there, and it's a whole thing.
Anyway, this has been a fascinating...
You say we instead of I, and all of a sudden shit matters. Anyway, Sam is very amused by the Katie Holmes joke and says that it's really bitchy compared to Dean's usual content, which I don't think so. I think this is a pretty on-par joke for Dean. However, they're interrupted by the sounds of Ellen and Joe screaming at each other. They can hear it from outside. So they go to investigate and, see if Joe needs to, literally be rescued.
I think if they tried to interfere, they would need to be rescued.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Sam's arm's still broken, but...
There's two of Ellen and Joe, too.
Well, I feel like, one of them's gonna be on their side. They're gonna be rescuing one of them.
I'm pretty sure Ellen could take them.
I think Ellen could take the three of them.
Ellen could definitely take the three of them.
But Joe is wanting to go somewhere, and Ellen is very much not wanting for Joe to go anywhere unless it's to go back to college. And Ellen even goes so far as to threaten to chain Joe up in the basement like a Disney princess. I mean, Joe looks like a Disney princess.
Yeah, that's true.
Sam and Dean walk in, and Ellen tells them it's a bad time, and Dean cracks a joke about them rarely drinking before 10. But, I'm guessing that Dean drank a beer for breakfast before they drove over there.
Dean, you're the last person to make that joke.
Dean regularly drinks before 10.
Dean doesn't drink water.
Because the boys, wake up at the crack of dawn. They just never sleep, so, they're always awake and they're always drinking. Sam just says, yes, ma'am, and shows that he is not carrying any weapons. He's like, universal sign of surrender, I am not involved in this fight. And Jo then stops them from leaving, saying that she wants their opinion on this argument, and Ellen does not give two fucks what the Winchesters think about anything little of this particular argument. A family with matching Nebraska is for lovers t-shirt. It's a family with two toddlers come in asking if they're open, and I can't think of a place I'm least likely to bring two toddlers, but okay.
Yeah.
Ellen and Jo both yell at them, and Ellen yells, yes, they're open, and Jo yells, no, they're not open. And the family is like, I think Jo's right, and they leave.
You're gonna go to the Arby's down the road.
Literally.
That's desperation. Going to the Arby's.
The phone rings and everyone just like stares at it, and then Ellen's finally like, God damn it, this is a business, and picks it up because she's a businesswoman, and we're not just letting the phone ring off the hook forever.
We got stuff to do.
Like, yeah, we're in the middle of a fight, but like business is business. Jo takes that opportunity to give the boys an elevator pitch on her case. She's got a whole case file on the girl from the opening scene disappearing 3 weeks ago. And Dean doesn't want to take the file, and Jo's like, it won't bite. And Dean's like, Ellen might, though.
Ellen doesn't need to bite.
Jo has an equally scary stare, and so he takes the file. And Jo just keeps her pitch going. She's like, 6 women have vanished from the building over the last 80 years, all of them young blondes. And she's like, I put this file together myself. And Sam's like, we've checked stuff out on Les. Like, let's just go. And Ellen's like, yes, you two go.
It's really weird how often I feel safe from, like, fictional predators as a brunette. Blondes do not have more fun.
It literally isn't until, like, Ellen's like, you guys go, that the boys suddenly clue in that that's what all the screaming and fighting about, is that Jo wants to go hunting. We also learned that Jo is short for Joanna Beth Harvell.
That's a cute name.
Which is a great name. I love that.
Yeah, no. It's pretty cute.
We then have a transitional driving scene set to Surrender by Cheap Trick, which is a great song. The soundtrack in this episode is really top notch.
Yay!
Ellen commits a crime against Foreigner later, but it's fine.
She's Ellen. I'm
I
pretty
was
sure she
ready to
can do
vibe,
it.
and Ellen was not in the mood.
And I'm just like, yeah, I totally get this. I know who Foreigner is.
You've never heard of Foreigner?
You definitely would know their songs.
Probably. The name is not ringing any bells.
Hot Blooded by Foreigner is Bones and Booth's song in Bones. So Sam feels really bad that they took Jo's case, and Dean's like, she did do a really good job on the file, but I can't picture her working the case. To which I say, fuck off, Dean Winchester.
I can picture her working the case. We believe in Jo.
Yeah. Why not?
This show was a cussing show. She would absolutely say that to him.
Absolutely. Sam finds some ectoplasm, which Dean is shocked by, but only for a second, before he recovers and makes a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man joke, which is a quintessential Ghostbusters reference. Sam says that he's only ever seen ectoplasm like twice in his whole life. It's only made by like really, really angry spirits, which is actually something the show does a good job. Like, we do see ectoplasm a couple of times in the future, but not every time. Like, it is actually something that is rare.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that they actually explain why it's here and not in other cases.
Yeah, and like then we don't go on to like see it every time after this or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness, because that stuff is disgusting.
Yeah, it is really gross.
Wait until we get to the mythology section.
The boys are checking out the building when they stumble across Jo, who pretends to be Dean's boyfriend and has like agreed girlfriend. Yeah.
It's because Dean's supposed to have a boyfriend.
Stop projecting.
She pretended that Dean was her boyfriend, is what I probably meant to type. And they rent the apartment with the money that Jo won hustling hunters at poker.
There's a lot of it. She's good at what she does.
Yeah, we've seen her hustling a couple times. We know she is good at it. Like, Dean's like, hunters don't tip that well because none of them have money. And she's like, yeah, they're not that good at poker either, though. Because she's a little hustler, and I love it.
I'm very proud of her.
Yep, I respect the hustle.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Jo told Ellen that she was going to Vegas, and she had Ash put down a credit card trail to corroborate that story.
Oh, sweetie. Trying to fool Ellen.
Yeah.
With Ash.
But Ellen knows the kid that she grew in her own freaking body and then raped. And she immediately calls Dean, like, is my daughter with you?
No.
Sam is, like, cleaning a pistol with his broken arm, which, once again, I would like to point out, is really broken. And the part of the reason why there's so much Dean and Jo in this episode is that Jared had to take some time off while they were filming because his arm was broken.
Oh gosh.
And it was like bothering him, I guess. And so like I feel like there was even more Dean and Jo content than they originally intended.
Broken arms tend to bother people.
But it was fine.
I feel like that happens a lot, though. When Sam is injured, it's because Jared is injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gotten a few kind of serious injuries on and off set.
We got war stories like the cast of Lord of the Rings.
But I also want to say that, like, Sam is over here literally cleaning a pistol. I know so many people who have broken their arms and then, like, couldn't tie their own shoes very well, and he's just, like, wielding a firearm.